Good Sunday evening, high school sports fans. Joe Gillaway with Lingelstown Gazette Sports live from the Orchard Street studio, and this is our high school football preview show. I'll be joined momentarily by our panel of experts. Most of our panel of experts are with us tonight. As soon as we're done thanking those responsible for bringing you tonight's show, our Lingelstown Gazette Sports Platinum sponsors. These are our 2025-2026 Platinum sponsors. First show that they're all together as a group. We start our 25-26 sports coverage year tonight. So they are American Legion Post 272, Crystal Bob at Iron Valley Real Estate, the Tire Mart, Team PA, AAU Basketball. Thank you to Greg and Andrea Cavoli. They've been with us for years, and they just don't say no. They always support us. Capital Region Insurance Agency, Sam Hartley Decking, Payer Apparel, Tonino's Pizza, Hoffman Ford. Thanks to these great local businesses for their continued support. Upcoming next week, which will be after week one is in the books, we have Aliquippa. Let's call him first-year head coach, Mike Warfield. Okay, he's back. So I talked to him, I don't know, maybe a month ago, and what a nice guy. It's the first time I ever had a conversation with Coach Warfield. And he was very gracious, and he's like, just give me a call, and we'll get it together. I'd like to do it. So we're excited to have Coach Warfield. And we're excited to have a lot of coaches. We had a lot of great coaches last year. We'll do it again this year. So the fellows I have with me tonight are, let's go clockwise from the upper right, Dave Berman, the voice of Delco, Travis Waters, and Terry Clark Jr. Thank you very much. I mean, we had a blast last year. I know I did. And I have all the same guys back. Eric Thomas is had a death in his family, so he's not able to be with us tonight. And I don't know where Ben Dupree is, but I'm sure he'll join us here and there throughout the season. So let's get started, guys. First of all, thanks for joining us again tonight and this year. I say it because I mean it. I couldn't possibly find a better. I call you guys my panel of experts because you're a panel and you're experts. Okay, so I really feel that way, but I couldn't possibly have a better group of guys. Dave's traveling from being at a high school basketball event in Lancaster County.
Yep, Spooky Nook, Big 60 showcase, a lot of Harrisburg area guys, coaches. I'll throw some names later
Okay.
on. I mean,
All right.
I ran into one of our camera guys, Bragan Moore, unbelievable, Harrisburg great. Said he graduated in 2000.
Yeah,
From Harrisburg.
From quarterback. Yeah, quarterback.
Yeah, Bragan Moore. Yeah. He's in Lancaster now, and then of course everybody knows Kenton Alston. He
Yes,
is
sir.
at Central Penn now, and Kenton was doing some checking out some of the kids playing there. So it was good to see Kenton. What a nice
I saw
guy he is.
Kenton back the end of June at the PA Sports Hall of Fame Capital Region induction ceremony. He was with there was a bunch of Stilton guys, or at least a few Stilton guys getting inducted, and he joined them. You know, he was at their table, so it was good to see Kenton Alston.
Kent was my former student. Still.
Oh, was he really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's excited. He's excited to have that job over there for sure.
Good guy. Good guy.
So let's start with this. Week one, this coming week, I call it week one because a true week zero. We talked about this last. Week zero started with college football when they'd only have like those one or two games. You guys remember that? Years ago, there'd be like one game or two games, and then there wouldn't be another game for another week. So they called that week zero. We don't do that in high school sports, at least Pennsylvania high school football. But the big kind of, pardon the expression, I think you'll know what I mean, but the big sexy event is the York Rose Bowl. That's the one that everybody's attracted to. And it's not just cool because, you know, they have all these games in two different stadiums. It's cool because they have a lot of really good teams and a lot of really good matchups. So I'm just going to go down the list here. Starting on Friday at 5 p.m., Southwestern versus Susquehanna Township. So we get our friend Joe Heaton and his guys in a matchup with Southwestern, who's had an improved program over the past handful of years. York Suburban versus West Catholic from Philly, and that's at York Suburban Stadium. Most of these games are being played at Smalls Field in York. Friday at 8 p.m., York High versus Central Dauphin East. So we get another one of our local teams, East. And going up against our friends Steve Little and Ben Dupree. They both work. I think Ben's still at York High. Is he still at York High? Ben?
Yeah, he is there, and in fact, he's actually on the York High staff this year, coaching.
That's right. I thought so. Yeah, and then our friend Steve Little's down there too. So we wish both of those teams well. Then Saturday, York Tech versus James Buchanan, and then the kind of the bigger games, let's call them, Bishop McDevitt versus Clarkston North from Canada, and Harrisburg versus Imhotep Charter. So, what do you guys think about that? That's some pretty good games, isn't it?
Well, first of all, can I tell you, I'll be public address announcer coming out there for the McDevitt and the Harrisburg game.
Oh, both games?
Yep.
Both games.
So that's good. And you'll
Good
be there.
right there.
Yeah, man.
Ron, I better be prepared. I better not mess up any name. Ron Corsi called me. He's a great guy. He got a new job, by the way, guys. You know Ron? Have you met him in your travels?
Oh, yeah, he's a great
I've seen
guy.
that down in Maryland, right?
Yeah, he said, I can't get too deep into it. It's a damn shame what happened to him at Chambersburg and York Suburban, but that's a story.
He works hard, too. He did some really good stuff at both those schools, I thought. So.
Oh, yeah. Unbelievable. But anyway, I'm excited.
Well, get those pronunciations right, Dave.
Okay, well, good. You guys
it's not that hard. You go through the rosters. Most of the names are going to be automatic. Smith, Jones, Waters, Clark, Berman. I mean, anybody can pronounce. And the ones you're not sure of, you got to show up early enough, and you find like an assistant coach or somebody like that, and they'll help. And now
my wife's going to try to help. Yeah.
Okay, there
you go.
There you go.
I remember back in the day, used to have spotters. A spotter from each team.
He has a spotter. Dave has a spotter. His wife, his wife's spotter. She's like a professional spotter.
Actually, I'm so old, and my eyesight's good, but I need two spotters for like the Coatesville games. A lot going on, much more than I do.
That's almost cheating, dude.
So that Coatesville press box is top notch.
They're doing all the work for you. Okay, well, good luck with that.
I get $50 a game.
No, you're very good.
Yeah, whatever. It's a labor of love.
I'm joking around. So other interesting week one games. I probably missed some. Cumberland Valley and Manheim Township, home and home. Last year,
that's a good game. That's a game I want to see. I think Cumberland Valley will be improved, and Manheim Township is going to be good. They're going to be a factor in District 3, 6A.
Yeah, I do want to comment on Manheim Township though. It's kind of an interesting. It's been a kind of interesting offseason for them because it's been kind of quiet from them. You're not really getting too much or hearing too much as far as what's going on. I'm echoing a little bit. Sorry.
No, that was actually my phone.
Oh, all right. I'm sorry.
No, I just turned the audio down.
Okay. All right, good. But what I was saying is it's been a kind of a quiet from them, and I'm thinking the main reason why is because this year they lost a lot of production. Well, their main production in their running back.
Oh man,
and
good.
They went on a really good 3-year run where they were loaded with talent, loaded with talent. And I do think this is the year where I'm not going to call it a down year because I don't think they're to the point where they don't really have down years anymore.
Right.
Based off of the program they built and the numbers that they do get. So I am curious to see what they will look like in that first game because they're not returning quote unquote big names as far as production is concerned.
I think his name was Declan Clancy or
Declan. It was Clancy.
Declan. He was good, man. He was really good.
I think he accounted for close to 30 touchdowns last year. So
just a really hard nosed. He was like a football player. The way you draw it up,
Right.
Yeah, Terry, you make a valid point because I was thinking District 3, 6A. The only team outside of a mid-pen team that probably has a shot is probably Central York, I would imagine.
I think they're going to be pretty good.
Yeah, based off of what they return. Yes, I would agree with that. Manheim Township is one of those teams that, based off of, like I said, what they return, we're still a little question mark. But one thing that we can all agree on, they are going to be good, though. They are.
Well, they have, and I know we just had this conversation the other day via text, and I said that I'm not overly impressed with this situation, this number, but they have 98 guys on their team this year, Manheim Township. Now, they could have 40 that really aren't that good. They could have 50 that really aren't that good, but that means there's enthusiasm there.
Yeah.
Really, you know what I mean? And when you have 98 players, I just interviewed one of the assistant coaches and some of his guys last week on a different show. But when you have 98 players, there's a good chance that you have 22 good ones. You know,
right. I mean, the odds are in your favor.
Right, exactly.
Odds are in your favor.
That's a big number.
That's why I said you can never count them guys out. I mean, they are getting those kind of numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, you should never count them out.
That came from the coach. He's the one that told us. You know, that's so. Anyway, I got another one here. I kind of like Allentown Central Catholic at Trinity. I talked to Kevin Yarnovich, Trinity's second-year head coach. Allentown Central Catholic kind of took it to him a little bit last year. I forget what the score was, but and you know they have some. Their goal is to get them back. Basically, that's what Coach Yarnovich said, that they didn't forget about it, and I think Trinity's going to be all right this year. You know, Allentown Central Catholic's typically good, so that could be a good matchup there. St. Joe's Prep at American Heritage. I just mentioned that because you know we're going to follow St. Joe's Prep the entire year. American Heritage is out of Plantation, Florida, and they're playing down there. The South College at Pitt Central Catholic. That's arguably the game of the week. That's the game of the week.
That's a good one.
Yeah, man. Why I'm missing at Southern Columbia.
That's a good one too.
2A versus 4A. You know, one of the top 2As against one of the top 4As in the state. And then I wrote this down because you know Central York at Central Dauphin. I don't think it's going to be a close game. There was a time that was a really, really every year great matchup. In fact, Central York used to not be able to beat Central Dauphin ever. And then once it turned over, now it's the other way around. Still two big programs, two big mid-pen conference sports schools. Let's put it that way. You know, CD's a good sports school, but one of you guys mentioned about Central York. They're going to be good this year. They were 10-3 last year, something like that. 9-3, 10-3. And they didn't really have an off year last year, but they kind of had one of those tweeners, those in between years where they didn't have a lot of like senior talent. This year they do.
Yes. Central York is, I mean, they are what everyone's striving to be in the York Adams League. They are that program there in that league. So like you said, this year they do return a lot of guys that played a lot last year and a lot of production. So, yeah, I think, you know, over the last couple of years, they have, you know, went through the regular season, no problem. That's expected. But come district time was always the problem child for them.
They have a tough regular season schedule this year, Central.
Yes, they did beef it up this year, and they took a game towards the end of the year versus Archbishop Hoban.
Second year in a row. Archbishop Hoban whooped them last year.
Yeah, national power.
Yeah.
That's a tough game to take, but you're a 6-8 team. You know who's waiting for you at the end of the tunnel. So, in my opinion,
they got
you should schedule like that.
He's a really good basketball player. That's Dew Jones' son, the broadcaster on their network there in York TV. He's very athletic. He's going to be a big addition to the team.
Well, their non-league games are, again, Central Dauphin, but then they have Manheim Township second, and then that Archbishop Hoban. So that's, you know, they're scheduling tough down.
That's 3 good games for them.
I'm at the point now with and I say this, I'm walking on eggshells. I don't want to say this, but I think I'd rather see Central Dauphin maybe schedule, not a cupcake, never a cupcake, but somebody that's more beatable, because they could end up being that first or second team out of the playoffs because of that game, you know, and there's an argument to be made on both sides there. You still want to play somebody good. Like York, that's a good example. That's a good scheduled game for East, I think. Yeah. York's not a slouch at all, but it's a winnable game. And I think if Central Dauphin played a team like that, you know, you can't just play somebody it's an easy win, and I'm not going there, but I don't know. That's probably not there's probably people saying, why would you say that, Joe? Why would you think that way? Because I think that they should want to have a chance to like kind of squeeze into at least the tail end of the playoffs, you know.
Well, to your point, like you mentioned earlier, like Central Dauphin used to be able to be the favorite
you guys
in that
want to
game.
ask me about my predictions
now
for
it's
District 1
shifted.
this year?
You didn't feed them, did you?
We'll get to District 1. We're still going to do yeah, Terry. So yeah, they're just not what they were a few years ago, and sometimes you have to kind of roll with the punches and adapt or adjust to where things are today. That's all I'm saying. So let's move on to Dave. We're not ignoring you here. We're going to start with Mid-Penn though. Mid-Penn Conference. I think this is the second year that there's 4 large divisions. They changed. They moved stuff around last year. They got rid of that. What was that called? The Northern Dauphin County and the Perry County Liberty. There's no Liberty division. I think a couple teams moved out and they're in another district now, District 6 or something. But let's start with the Commonwealth. We don't have to cover this a whole lot. The Commonwealth, there's going to be 3 really good teams and then everybody else. McDevitt, Harrisburg, and State College, and then probably Cumberland Valley, kind of right there, hanging around.
I'm gonna include Cumberland Valley.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah, that's why I didn't want to exclude them. That's why I mentioned them in the same breath. Hey, Dave. Yeah. We can't have that. I'm sorry, guys.
No, it's all good.
All right.
I know he's driving, so.
I know. So. Yeah, I know. You and I think we were texting or talking, and you like Cumberland Valley.
I do like Cumberland Valley.
And that's good. I mean, that's good. This is a tough division. They're either going to be part of those other 3 or they're going to be the best team right after that. One of the 2.
Agreed.
Yeah, I'd take Cumberland Valley. In that. Because I think they're going to be better than last year. So
yes.
I mean, they made the playoffs. They played Manheim Township tough in the playoffs last year.
Well, that's what you guys are here
for. Be a better team.
So,
they found their quarterback. You know.
Let's talk the Big 4 then. Those are the big 4.
I think it's going to definitely be a Big 4 in the Commonwealth this year. It's really, really top heavy because the fall off from that to the rest, it's a big fall off.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Probably the next cluster group of teams would be Cedar Cliff East and Central Dauphin. I would think.
I don't know about East.
Maybe
that's not slighting them. I just think they're so young.
East is going to be a really young team this year. So,
and I'll go as far as to say, and I don't know what's going to happen. While I say they're, Harrisburg, Cumberland Valley, State College, and McDevitt, I'm going to lean to say that it's Harrisburg and then those other teams.
Absolutely.
From what I saw yesterday, Harrisburg went toe-to-toe with a St. Joe's Prep looking. The Hunt School has some grown. I'm gonna say this has some grown ass men out there.
Yeah.
And Harrisburg didn't play a lot of starters.
Right.
Lacked 2 starters on the defensive line. Didn't play a couple starters on the offensive line. Didn't play Jayon Lewis, and they went toe-to-toe, and they're good on defense.
How was the backup quarterback?
He looked good. He's not immobile, but he throws the ball well. He had a couple overthrows. But he completed some passes. But I was really impressed with their defense.
I do want to add to that a little bit. So as Travis mentioned, a couple of starters didn't play in that game. But first and foremost, I do want to say, I'm thankful that Harrisburg was able to get a scrimmage. That's been their Achilles heel for the last few years. They couldn't get a scrimmage, so that first game would be really, really sloppy for them.
Right.
Yeah.
And now they don't have to worry about that. They got that out the way, so I think they should be much more prepared and ready to go for Imhotep.
I have a sizable wager. Dave knows about it. That what is it, Dave? That Harrisburg beats Imhotep by at least 2 touchdowns. I think. I think they're gonna
$1,000.
Oh, you didn't have to say that.
Also, another thing. I'm glad you're bringing that up.
All right.
The fan base between Harrisburg and Imhotep has been going at it all year long. They have in our group, in our Pennsylvania high school sports
football forum. Yep.
On Facebook. Been going at it all year long. So, that moment is finally here. So I'm excited for it. I think the entire state is excited for it too. So.
If anybody out there that's watching, and we have some decent amount of people watching right now, and you like high school football, like that page. It's either PA or Pennsylvania High School Football Forum. Terry moderates it, or what's the word? Facilitates it. Does a great job. It's a smart. It's a lot of smart people on there that know this, know the game and know the Pennsylvania teams and stuff. So that's a nice way to spend some time following high school football. Terry does really well.
Okay, the scrimmage Imhotep yesterday. What do you think of that? Huge win at Archbishop Spalding, powerhouse, 21-10. Your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts is you can only take so much out of a scrimmage, but Archbishop Spalding's really good, and it's a good win. It's a good scrimmage win, no doubt about it. I'm not going to take anything away from it.
Yeah, I'll say this. I think it's going to be a good game. I look forward to that game, Harrisburg and Imhotep. But I'm going to say it's about Harrisburg. Harrisburg is far better than what they were at the beginning of the season last year.
Yep.
Not even close. And even, when you look at Harrisburg throughout the season, with Kevin Brown in there, they're a different team. And what I saw yesterday, I was impressed with what I saw yesterday. They're going to be better than – I think they're going to be significant. They were a good team last year. I think they're going to be significantly better this year. And that's a scary proposition for a lot of teams. Like, teams could have gotten better, but if Harrisburg is better, that's –
Well, they might have the best offensive backfield in the state with P.J. Denton and Messiah Mickens. I mean, that's an incredible backfield. Don't you guys think?
It's really good, but, the crosstown rival, McDevitt, might be able to compete with that.
Right.
Because they got three guys.
Okay.
But
that's why I said Mike.
Where'd PJ Dent?
Harrisburg has much more depth than they
Dent came over from
Cedar Cliff.
Cedar Cliff. He was at Trinity his freshman year. I don't know if he played for Trinity or not. So Trinity, Cedar Cliff, Harrisburg, and he's only junior.
Right. I remember posting that. Unbelievable.
I believe he led the mid-pen in rushing last year, either first or second, but he definitely had a really good year.
He's a wrestler too, right?
Yep.
There's something about that.
He's a good athlete. He's good.
His dad was a wrestler. Dad was a wrestler and football player at Harrisburg as well.
And then, of course, like Terry
Kevin Brown's a hell of a wrestler.
Brown's healthy.
Commodore's got to be excited for that.
Kevin doesn't wrestle anymore.
Yeah, that's what happens. That's kind of like the Kayla Fletcher thing. She played basketball for 2 years, and once softball got like really, really big for Kayla, I'm just making a comparison here, right? That's kind of what happens, when an athlete kind of really hones in and focuses, and they tend to drop the other sports, Yeah.
I think I want to add one more thing about the Harrisburg scrimmage. So I didn't watch it because they did live stream it, but I seen bits and pieces of it. I turned it on. But one thing you did see, if you watched early on, you seen Messiah, and I'm talking about on defense. Last year, he showed everyone just how great of a defensive player he is. I mean, he won defensive MVP.
Mm-hmm.
That's considering, this Harrisburg team has Rick Brown on it, who would probably be everyone else's best defensive player on their team in District 3, period.
And he showed out yesterday as well.
Yes, he did.
He comes and he has bad intentions when he makes contact.
Yeah, so having those two guys alone, and then you add Noah Ewell as well at linebacker and pass rushers.
You got me, Joe?
Their defense.
Yeah, I can hear you.
And Titus Brown got some
really exciting.
I think it takes a miracle.
Got some penetration yesterday. Titus Brown got some good plays and good penetration yesterday.
I think it takes a small miracle for them to lose. I mean, they could lose to McDevitt or Aliquippa somehow, but for them to not get at least to the state semis, it's going to take some kind of small miracle.
Agreed.
I don't see a Governor Mifflin game happening, or I think they kind of maybe lost a game a few years ago to State College that they maybe shouldn't have. I just don't see that happening this year. Do you remember that game?
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah. And I think one of the main difference with this Harrisburg team,
can you hear me, Joe?
Potentially,
yeah,
we can hear you.
Yep.
potentially.
The other guys break up?
No.
No, we're talking, Dave.
Yeah, we're talking.
Go ahead, Terry.
I hear you.
Okay.
I don't hear that.
So the main difference I believe is that Harrisburg is going to be a little bit more deeper this year than past year teams, and a lot of that was a lot of key guys got time last year. Freshmen played, like Rashad White, big fella. Those are 2 freshmen that played a lot of.
Josiah Johnson. Josiah Johnson played well yesterday. Played really well yesterday. Big sophomore.
So, I think, man, like they have a lot to be excited for, because I think I mean they got the talent and the depth. They are showing that they have depth. The quarterback, the backup, who will be the backup, he's even looked like he's improved a little, improved from last year as well. More confidence. So even if something was to happen to Lewis this year, I think he'll be able to step in and do a great job.
This might be. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Terry.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be excited for them.
Yeah, there really is. It's this might be this has to be their year, maybe, like them and McDevitt. If they ever, either of those schools ever want to win another state championship, it's probably going to be this year.
Agreed.
Because McDevitt's going to move up to 6A. That doesn't I don't know if they match up with St. Joe's Prep or LaSalle if LaSalle gets in there.
We'll see.
And then Harrisburg just has, this is their year, you know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I hate to put all that pressure on them. Not that they're feeling my pressure, but that's a heck of a thing to say. But I'm on the outside kind of analyzing things, and they're not going to have a team this talented Harrisburg. I don't think.
Yeah, if there's going to be any year, it has to be this year.
Yeah,
it has to be this year.
All right, so let's just kind of go through the rest of these divisions. We always talk about the Commonwealth a little more. It's 6A, and it's Harrisburg and McDevitt. But the Keystone, Mechanicsburg lost some studs. I think Hershey's going to be better.
Yes.
Cam Sweeney's really good. I know that's just one player, one athlete, but he's really good. I don't know.
Hershey's quietly turning into a really house with some athletes, man.
I did want to talk about Hershey a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, I'm gonna just say it right now. They're my prediction to win the Keystone this year. However, I do think Mechanicsburg coming into the season is a slight favorite, but I think Hershey wins it when it's all said and done.
Mechanicsburg has a good coach, man.
Yeah, I like their coach a lot.
Yeah.
They do one thing that Mechanicsburg, even though they lost a bunch of their skill guys, they do up front. They return a lot. They bring back a lot back, and they bring back 2 key O linemen and D linemen that are both D1 guys. So that, to me, that will help them. And also the year that they had last season, winning is contagious. So
yeah, it is.
You know, I mean, they know what that felt like. I'm sure they got a couple more guys out that want to play football for Mechanicsburg this year. So I still think that they're going to put out a good product. I expect them to still be pretty good. Yeah. But going back to Hershey, though, I think, like I said, winning is contagious. Sweeney, he's a senior. A lot of the guys that played on a state championship game in 5A in basketball for Hershey, a lot of those guys are going to come out and play football this year. And some of them were already playing football. So in their mindset, there's like, we had the success in football. Why can't we? I mean, basketball. Why can't we do it in football? Yeah. So they're going in trying to, build off last year where they had a pretty solid year. And I think if there was one team to have a quote unquote Mechanicsburg year, it would be them.
Okay. Yeah. So I just want to get caught up on the comments here. I encourage the viewers to make comments. I want to make it interactive for the viewers. So I have to read them as long as they're tasteful. Kirby Lentz says, hello. Hi, Kirby. He said, I watched Hershey yesterday, pounded Chambersburg. Yeah. I talked to Hershey or Kirby on the phone yesterday, and he was enthused by Hershey. He said they look like good. And then Anthony Andrioli said Chambersburg might make some noise. I don't know. I don't know anything about him. He wants to know, is the York Rose Bowl showcase on TV at all? Probably not TV, maybe online. I don't even think it was online last year.
I can't remember.
Might pay per view that Roxborough thing.
Yeah, I think you have to pay for that though.
Right. Yeah. It'd be worth the price probably. I don't even if it's $20. And then Anthony Andreoli also said LaRue is the truth. Who is LaRue?
McDevitt. He's their sophomore. He'll be a sophomore running back.
Okay, all right. So
yeah,
thanks.
He's good. He's already getting D1
offers.
Thank you for the comments and the questions, fellas. We really appreciate it. Let's move on to the Capital.
Can I?
Go ahead, Dave. You want to talk about Mifflin County?
What a year!
You know he does.
Exciting times, Keystone, Mifflin County. The excitement in the air. Multi-million-dollar stadium. Funded by my buddy Don Chapman, former owner of the waterfront restaurant, Lewistown, which is closed down now. But anyway, Don, the late great. And Mifflin County has a lot of guys, and they're exciting in there. Joe, you interviewed a bunch of them last week, Coach Breon. So you could just, this is one of the most spectacular facilities you will see anywhere in the heart of the Appalachian, heart of God's country. What do you think? What do you think, Joe?
Well, I think that they're going to probably be fighting for, I don't want to count them out. I don't know enough. At least I don't come in here and try to act like I know. I didn't know who LaRue was. I just asked who's LaRue. So I don't know enough about Mifflin County, but I think Hershey and Mechanicsburg are going to be pretty good.
Right.
So,
and then you have Shippensburg.
Yeah. So
Mifflin County opens up at their new stadium Friday against Central Mountain, who's like 2 wins and 30 losses, but it's still kind of a rivalry game, Lock Haven, but it is Central Mountain. It's a beautiful field, and I know that the Mid-Penn teams are excited to come up here and play on their turf. So
you really
I just want to give a shout to the
nicely.
Mifflin County Huskies.
All right, Mifflin County. Good luck, Coach Breon.
Since we're still in Keystone, I do want to shout out Coach Jamie Thomas, first year at Redland. Curious to see what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck, Coach.
Best wishes, Coach Thomas. Maybe we'll get Coach Thomas on the show. That'd be nice. We got a lot of weeks left to bring coaches on. How about the Capital Division? There's a lot of buzz around Steel High again. It was like I don't even want to. Dontrell Mitchell. He said the guys. He said two wins and 30 losses. That's crazy. That's pretty crazy. So anyway, Steel High. I had them on the show last week. Anyway, last week it was the annual show I do with PA Football News, Billy Splain. So we had 16 teams on there, and a lot of the teams we're talking about today were on. But they said one of the coaches said they have 48 players. How is that? I did the numbers, man. That's one of every 4 boys in the school playing football. I heard 42 a couple weeks ago. Now I heard 48. Anyway, the point is they've won state championships with 19 guys.
Yeah, Steel High is going to be. I thought they impressed me last year. I was not expecting
10-3
to be as good as what they were last year.
10-3.
And they have a lot of guys back. I think the key for them, if they can throw the ball a little bit this year, they're going to be a problem. But the only problem with Steel High is the reward for them is possibly a Southern Columbia.
And that's in the state quarterfinals.
Yeah, that's just not.
Or Troy. Yeah, that's the quarterfinals. And that's kind of just not, and you guys will understand what I'm saying. And this isn't the Steel High of 2008 and 2007. That's just not a real great matchup for Steel High, a good Southern Columbia team, or like last year's Troy team.
Yeah.
Not right now. It's not like I see you got Booby Bowers. You don't have the Booby Bowers team. I see you got Booby Bowers jersey behind you.
Right. Yeah.
BJ Corney, and he did have his feet in it in the end zone against them at Susquehanna Township. They should have won that game. But I don't think they're those Steel High teams, but they're going to be good this year. They're going to be good. They're going to be. They were good last year. They're going to be better than last year.
Yeah, exactly. Let me tell you about this helmet, Steel High helmet. It was definitely a game worn state championship helmet from 2008. So I bought it at an auction. Right, I got a good deal on it. I like Steel High, so I had Jeremiah Young and Big Cat on one of my shows. I interviewed him, and I said to Jeremiah, I said, I bought your helmet from the game. He looked at it, he goes, that's not my helmet.
A football player can always tell by the cage.
He knew. He goes, I never wore that helmet. I said, it's still a nice helmet.
That's because Jeremiah probably has it.
He has
it. I think that's how he knows it. I know that's how he knows.
Coach Divler's letting them guys take their helmets with them. So anyway, but it's still a nice helmet. I got a good deal on it. I don't even know who else to talk about in that. You know, you got Susquehanna, Upper Dauphin, Newport, Line Mountain. It's kind of a Juniata was pretty good last year. They got one of the best players in the area, a two-way player with I can't remember his name offhand, but he's going to be good. I'd like to have him on. I'd like to talk to him sometime and have him on the show. But let's move on to the Colonial now. The Colonial is kind of a different has a different makeup or complexion. Second year for this different makeup. And kind of like, you know, and I don't want to discount, sure, Middletown and Milton Hershey and some of these teams have high hopes, but we might have another Susquehanna Township Trinity, you know, kind of rumble. You guys remember that game last year? Yep. It was incredible. Went to overtime. Yeah, it was a really good game. Kind of sloppy, but you know what? When games that are that close, they have to be sloppy at some points. You know what I mean? It was just one of those. One team looked like there's no way they had a chance to win, and then they get back into it, and then the other team. So I'm looking forward already. I don't even know when they play, but Susquehanna Township and Trinity. Anybody else? Is that when it is? Okay.
Yeah, it's week 9.
I like Susquehanna.
Yeah, I like Susquehanna a lot this year. I think. Well, I'm gonna start off by saying this: the last 3 years, I picked them to win the division. I'm including this year. That's the third year.
Okay.
They didn't. This year, I think their year's the charm. I think they get it done convincingly too. I really do.
I agree with that.
All right. Okay, so that's it. That's the mid-pen. We spent a good bit of time on the mid-pen, and folks at home, you know, we're going to be talking about this stuff every single week. You know, so let's move on to District 3. The usual suspects. I have them jotted down. Or my expectations are. All right, Dave. I think you're home now with no shirt on.
Yes, I got home.
What is that?
Oh my God! I got my shirt.
Dude, you got to put your shirt on, man. This is
Joe, you got to start looking like me.
This is. I can't have that, man. I cannot have that. This is Lincolntown Gazette Sports, man. We're wholesome. So anyway, let's talk about let's call them the usual suspects in District 3. Harrisburg, McDevitt in 6A and 5A. Probably Wyomissing, who throw down last year with Lampeter Strasburg. Let's see if Dave can come in and not act up. Dave.
Oh, well, okay.
You got to watch out with that stuff. But you're my friend. I don't like to tell grown men what they can and can't do. But
I forgot I had my shirt off. I'm sorry.
Okay, you still have your shirt off. So anyway, Wyomissing. I think Lampeter Strasburg lost some players this year.
They lost a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then 3A, 2A, I'm not sure. Still high in 1A, I'm thinking probably. How about 3A, guys? You guys know anything about what might be good in 3A? I don't. Well, it used to be Wyomissing, like every year.
Oh, yeah, Wyomissing's not there anymore. So
yeah, and I don't expect you guys to know either. In 2A, well, it's still high in 2A. Yeah, still high.
I do like to still high in 2A.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. So some of the other teams that let's just say that might have some chances of being good is I think we talked about Manheim Township and Wilson. They said Wilson took it to Coatesville yesterday.
Wilson?
Again, I know it's just a scrimmage. Oh, Carolyn Fortney said Jasper Shep Jr.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carolyn. We appreciate that. Yeah.
Wilson, from what I know, what they have coming back, I expect them to be still pretty solid. To be honest, I mean, they returned their leading rusher from last year, so that alone, they'll have something to build on off of that. And one thing about Wilson, though, I will say they're well coached, as we know.
Yeah.
And they are not going to be the biggest team this year, size-wise, as far as up front. However, they run really good schemes, and also they're going to rely heavy on their team speed. They do have a lot of good team speed. And you typically, from a Wilson team, you really don't get that.
Right.
Usually. But this particular team that they have, team speed-wise, they're going to have some team speed that's going to surprise some teams.
There's a good chance, and if the bracket's set up for this, I mean, if you got Harrisburg, Manheim Township, Wilson and Central York, man, that's 4 Studley teams, and then throw in Cumberland Valley if they move into that scenario. But it's going to be good. Let's say that.
I think the thing for Wilson is they're going to have to improve their passing game from last year.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up. So I left that out. That is probably going to be their biggest question mark, the quarterback. Like, who's going to step into their role? Will they have a passing game this year? They do have a nice size target at tight end, who can be a weapon, but they got to have someone that can get in the ball. So we'll see.
Well, here's an interesting something I dug up over a cup of coffee yesterday when I was just kind of taking notes and doing some research. The York Adams League has never won a title in 4A or 5A. Okay. They've only ever won 3 titles, District 3 championships all time. In 6A, Central York in 2020, the year they were really good with Prabul, of course.
Asterisk.
Yeah.
I know. It counts, though.
It definitely counts.
Oh, is that when Harrisburg they had a COVID?
Yeah. Yep, that's why I said asterisk.
Harrisburg had a college offensive line.
Yeah,
that was
they were going to beat them with that team.
West York in 2008 in 3A. And then just last year was the third ever was Bermudian Springs in 3A, 2024. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. Most of the titles have been won by Mid-Penn and now Lancaster Lebanon has combined with the Berks. So that's strong too. Stronger in basketball. But and then the one thing I want to mention, we mentioned this in a show couple of months ago. I heard a little birdie told me Central York is thinking about joining the Mid-Penn Commonwealth for all sports. It would make a lot of sense.
I mean, it would make sense, but
they have very little competition down there in anything.
But man, would that hamper? That would kill the York Adams League. I mean, if they lose them,
they have very little competition down there.
I agree.
In anything. I mean, that's a really good sports school down there.
I agree.
I mean they might become them in Cumberland Valley, and then Central Dauphin's a good sports school, but Central York could immediately become the best sports school in the Mid-Penn.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, don't be shocked if it happens.
It's crazy though, because as seasons go by, Central York football is starting to look more and more like a Commonwealth team.
Yeah,
they're trying to get to that level though, because they have issues come districts.
Yeah. Well, their issues is Harrisburg.
It's Harrisburg.
Harrisburg. Yes. They're just, I don't know what to say.
It's Harrisburg. Yeah.
Okay, Linglestown Gazette just commented. He said, "What did you say about CD Rams?" I don't know. Maybe somebody's mad that I just said that. I guess that's Bill Bostic, my friend. Bill, I just said I
didn't say anything. I'm not sure.
I just said that they're not what they once were, and I didn't expect them to really give Central York too much of a game on Friday. So, I mean, I'm going to stick with that. I listen. I get it from both ends. I get it from being a homer for Central Dauphin. I'm sure you guys have heard that. Joe's a. But then if I don't say great things about him, I get it from the other end. Man,
it'll tell you a lot about CD on
absolutely.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think Central York. It seems like this is going to be one of their deeper teams too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, they're excited down in Central York. They think this is possibly the year that they can make noise. So we'll see.
Those kids, and I know you can't judge a book by its cover, but they brought in Coach Janchuk, who's a great guy. I love him. I mean, he's an awesome dude. He brought in about 5 players with him at the show last Sunday. You should have seen these. Well, the quarterback. Who's a senior now. He's been starting this since he was a sophomore.
Yep.
These guys look like athletes, man.
And
it was only 5 of them, but they look like players. They look like guys that can get it done,
Yeah,
they were nice guys, really good professional demeanors, and so anyway, we wish them all well. We wish we focus on the Mid-Penn here because that's where we live and that's where we exist, and we know more about the Mid-Penn, but we wish everybody well. And how about statewide? We're going to talk. Go ahead, Terry.
Before we get to statewide,
Let's go back. Yeah.
Just Central York. I want to just say one more thing about them.
Yes.
That is kind of Mid-Penn related.
Yes.
So one of their best players on their team, this name should ring a bell, Jeremiah Hunter. is the son of former
Willie
great
Hunter from Sabersburg, right?
Nope.
Jeremiah played for Mannheim Central.
Mannheim and Harrisburg.
Yeah. Okay, do you guys remember Willie Hunter from
Chambersburg? Xavier Hunter was his younger brother.
Oh, man. I'm showing my age because when I played at Central Dauphin, Willie Hunter was the real deal. He was like a Mack truck or a house just running through the hole out there. And but anyway, I had the wrong Hunter. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Jeremiah was a big factor in that Mannheim Central team that won the state championship in 2003.
Dave, your audio is better than it's ever been. I mean, right now, whatever you're doing,
really good.
Bottle that.
Yeah, I'm outside now.
Okay.
I was at the Chester scrimmage.
How did they look?
Not bad. A very well played scrimmage. Newman Goretti is for a smaller category.
Dennis Shaw.
Dennis Shaw, yes. Very intense. I posted some videos and finally got a chance to do an interview with Albie Crosby, legendary coach of not only Imhotep, but Newman Goretti. Very well played. 8-0 Goretti on a touchdown. They have a Syracuse recruit, caught a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. So, yeah, Chester, shout out. We lost our second top receiver, knee injury for the year. Aleem Gidgets. Yep, Aleem Gidgets at Chester. Much respect and love for Aleem. What a great kid. And I think he comes back next year. I think he's going to be a senior next year. But, so there it is. But anyway, next man up, just like the Phillies pitching staff. Next man up.
That's rough.
So can I give you a quickly, because I got to get out of here shortly.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I give you my District 1, who I think is going to win District 1, 6A and 5A.
Yep.
First of all, Bonner's going to win the 4A state championship again. Okay. Bonner, Delco. Chester will win District 1, 5A. Coatesville will win District 1, 6A. And then Coatesville will play their probably St. Joe's Prep this year, rematch from over time. And then Chester will place Roman Catholic in the state semifinal. I think Chester can do it. And that's my prediction, and hopefully I'm right.
Very good. Thank you, Dave. Dave Berman, the voice of Delco.
Okay.
So let's move to statewide. And there's a couple housekeeping items here. Bishop McCourt. And the only reason I'm mentioning this, we talked about transfers on a different show a couple of weeks ago. We had a good show. But the only reason I'm mentioning this, Bishop McCourt brought in 6 transfers during the offseason, okay? 3 were ruled ineligible. One of the 3, Dominic Chippy, who came in from Winburn, has taken the PIAA to court. So there were 3 that were ruled ineligible. One of the 3 said, I should have been eligible. Dominic Chippy, he's in court right now with the PIAA, I suppose. Yeah, would have to be because he was probably initially ruled ineligible by the district. It starts at the district level. And then Anthony Smith. We've heard a lot about Anthony Smith, transfer from Southmoreland to Seton LaSalle. He was ruled ineligible by both the WPIAL, District 7, and PIAA. A court ruled him eligible to play in their scrimmage yesterday while the case is decided in the courts. So, and we didn't come on. This show's not to talk about that stuff, but these are just kind of updates on those situations. They're like really new updates.
Yeah.
And what do you got? Good.
A couple cases, didn't the kid go? He's going into 10th grade. Is that true?
That doesn't mean that you're allowed to have football or sports related or sports primarily sports. You can't have even a sports related transfer.
How do they know it's sports? So you go to school, you change schools for education. Okay, so
and sometimes you do. Okay,
McCourt might have a better education.
Dave,
than Winburn,
they had 6 transfers into McCourt. 3 of them were deemed eligible. Okay, so nobody's saying that none of these transfers are good, clean, eligible transfers. Okay, nobody's saying that.
That's too hypocritical. I've talked about it enough.
Well, every case is different. Every case is different. Every case is different. And how do you know? Sometimes the parents slip up. And just there's texts and there's conversations. They just come right out and say, I want to bring my kid over to play for this coach or to play for this program. They just want a state championship. They don't keep their mouths zipped. And then the evidence is just right out there in the open a lot of times.
Well, it is what it is. And we talked about it a million times.
Yeah.
I mean, this is going to be an ongoing issue every year after year after year.
Well, wait to see all the basketball. all the basketball transfers down here in Philly with Imhotep and all the Catholic League, and it's just crazy. But
I think,
gentlemen, Joe, I do have to go. Is that okay?
Absolutely, you did a great job as always, Dave. Keep that shirt on, buddy.
Phillies are going to win it all this year too.
I hope so, Dave. Thank you.
We'll get a better. Here's what I like about the PennLive.com Harrisburg Patriot. Every week, I can't post all the scores, but they give how the top 10 teams did in each bracket and scores. That's pretty cool. That's
I use that every week.
It's great.
I don't come up with my information on my own. Nowhere near. So,
okay,
Dave, thank you. Tell Brenda we said hi.
Mr. Waters, Mr. Clark, tell your dad I said hi. He's one of my favorites of all time. And Mr. Waters, tell all your peeps I said yo, and we'll see you next week.
See you, Dave. Right. Thank you.
See you.
Whew. All right. So anyway, that's the voice of Delco, Dave Berman. He's our District 1, District 12, and Mifflin County extraordinaire. And so anyway, yeah. And the reason, Terry, you were talking about, we're going to see more of this with the transfers and the ruled in, because we're seeing more transfers. We see more kids ruled ineligible only because, it used to be news. It's still news, okay? But you guys know what I'm saying, right, Travis? It was like a big deal if somebody transferred. You're like, oh, did you hear about so-and-so? Now it's just like there's a lot of them, man.
Yeah.
They just need to have a high school transfer portal.
At this point, at this point.
As it is now, you have to play by the rules. That's kind of the way it is.
The problem I see is I don't think the districts and the PNW is consistent across.
Yeah.
District 3 is not tough. District 3, they don't challenge much.
They
let them go.
Compared to like other districts,
7 don't let them. They don't let 7. Them go. No.
It's crazy out there what they're doing.
You rarely see an athlete in District 3 get ruled in. What's the word? It gets ruled ineligible or the transfer to be denied or whatever. So, anyway, let's. Okay, let me ask you guys this. We've had this conversation too. Should they rotate the semifinal matchups so that like, let's just say the District 11 and District 1 teams, representatives, they don't ever have a chance to get to the finals because they lose to St. Joe's Prep every year, or it could be LaSalle this year. Who knows? I think
the difficulty is that there's so many 6A teams in District 1. That's one of the issues, I think.
I think there's 36.
There's a lot. It's a lot of big schools down there.
Yeah. And I'm not, Harrisburg has to play. Sometimes it's North Allegheny, really good program. Last year it was Pitt Central Catholic. This year it's going to be one of those two again, probably Pitt Central Catholic. So nobody's saying that Harrisburg gets a pass, okay? But let me just put it to you guys this way. I'm going to break it down, and I'm going to get a comment or two maybe. Central Dauphin, Central York, and Harrisburg. They have been in the state championship game since 2019. Harrisburg, 3 times? Central York once, Central Dauphin once. None of them would have played in a state championship game had they had to play St. Joe's Prep in the semifinals. So what I'm saying is that's what your Parklands of the world or Emmaus or that's what they're faced with every year. I remember last year, was it Parkland that St. Joe's Prep beat? One of them, maybe not Parkland, but
I think that's right. I can't remember though.
But District 11, and somebody said, "Oh man, they're really good. I think they're going to keep up with St. Joe's." Oh, it was bad. So anyway,
I think the issue is if you put District 1 in the West, you have to put more than District 3 in the East. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because there's not enough teams.
I do think they should, at least for 6A and 5A, they should do like a rotation.
Rotate. Now, I'm not saying switch it for 10 years and make it
maybe every 3-4 years, maybe rotate it and do it like that. I don't know, but I do agree based off of how it is. It's tough on those teams,
I want to see Harrisburg in there every year. Okay, I'm a District 3 guy. I'm a Harrisburg guy. I like Cal. I like his program. I want to see them in there every year, but I just don't know if it's fair.
But at the same time, it's also, it's an opportunity if you want to win a state title, you got to go through them. That's who you're
you
going
got
to
to beat
see.
St. Joe's Prep.
You have to. So either it's semifinals or finals. Like
that's a good.
You
got
to beat them.
That's a good argument.
There's that too.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But some people like the quote unquote just get into the championship game opportunity too.
Oh, it's great.
That's what I was going to say is the goal to get to the championship or to win.
Yeah, what's more important? Like, there's that too.
So let's kind of, we don't need to spend too much time on this. But 6A, I think, in my infinite wisdom, and I mean that, you got St. Joe's Prep, LaSalle College, Harrisburg, and Pitt Central Catholic. Okay? Kind of like we said, the Big Four in the Mid-Penn Commonwealth. Once we added Cumberland Valley, which we should have, we had the Big Four. I think they're the Big Four statewide.
And let me say this, Joe. I would say that I wouldn't be surprised if LaSalle could beat St. Joe's.
Me neither.
This year.
Me neither.
There's a possibility you could see like a LaSalle and a Pittsburgh Central Catholic rematch, or a LaSalle and a Harrisburg rematch from last year.
Yeah. So
I don't think that. I mean, I'm not going to say I don't think that LaSalle can beat St. Joe's Prep because they did last year.
In the regular
my only
season.
Issue in the regular season. Yeah. That's my issue. The
fact that they got to really bad.
They have to beat them potentially twice. Like that's tough, man.
Whew,
that's tough.
Really tough.
Let alone beat them one time.
You almost want to lose in the regular season.
Let's save everything until that last game where it really matters.
Right.
But the wild card is you never know what additions a Pittsburgh Catholic school brings in.
Oh, they're supposed to be really good.
You never know. You know what I mean? They're just a wild card. You never know.
Here's the teams that I'm not including in my Big Four. And Parkland, Emmaus, State College, North Allegheny, Imhotep, and Central York. In that order, they're the preseason 5th through 10th ranked teams. So that's, if you like high school football or high school sports, man, what a great, that's going to provide some really, really good drama and some really good play for us to watch and follow. So 5A, and stop me if you guys have something else to add, like you did a couple of times, Terry. Just stop me because this is everybody's show. But let's because I want to kind of try to get through this. 5A McDevitt, I think they kind of sit like stand alone. McDevitt, I've had people say, "Nah, Joe, that's not right." I think they should win a state championship almost every year. And I think they should have won a state championship almost every year for a long time now. I know they've gotten close a couple times. They got kind of upset by Dallas a few years ago, 2 or 3. And I know that's putting a lot of pressure on, but they're just so much more talented than all the other teams, especially since they're in 5A. There's a huge drop-off from 6A to 5A. But the 3 or 4 teams, let's talk about the teams that probably have the best chance. McDevitt, Pine Richland again, who McDevitt handled very easily last year, and then Roman Catholic and Peters Township.
Yep.
So that's going to
another Big Four.
Yeah, another Big Four. Yeah, because the number 5 is Chester, and I'm just not going to include them. They stubbed their toe. Okay, they can go 10-0 or 9-1 in the regular season. Maybe win that first round game in District 1, and then they, I don't know who beat them last year, Garnet Valley or one of those.
Wasn't it Ruston? Wasn't it Ruston who beat them?
Bayard Ruston. You're right. You're correct. Yeah.
That's actually a tough district for 5A down there.
Absolutely.
It is pretty tough.
Garnet Valley, Ruston. Yeah, that it's very tough. Yeah, it's very tough. 4A Bonner, Pendergast, who won it last year, beat Lampeter Strasburg. Southern Lehigh moved up, I believe. They won it in 3A last year, right? Did they? Southern Lehigh? We should know. One of us should know.
You should know that.
I think they won it in 3A last year and had to move up to 4A. That's what I think. But they're another one that's picked. They're picked the number 2, and then McKeesport. They were an honorable mention last year, and they were only 8-5 last year. They're picked number 3.
McKeesport is really talented. They have a lot of talent. They have one of the best running backs in the nation.
Okay, well then there you go.
And he's a young guy. I believe he's going to be a junior. I think he's going to be a junior.
That can carry a team, a running back like that. So, and then the fourth and fifth. Let's go down to 4th and 5th. Pope John Paul II, who were really good last year. They finished 12-2. Why I'm missing is picked number 5. And then in this order, TJ, Thomas Jefferson, Shamokin, Lampeter, Strasburg, Aliquippa. We'll see what how they do. And Aliquippa doesn't play this Friday.
Nope, they never do. They never play week 0 or week 1 games. They never do.
So we will be bringing their coach on to talk about his team before they have a game under their belts, which is fine. Maybe we might move him back. So yeah, we might move him back a week because I would like to have a game for him to talk about. You know what I mean?
Right.
So 3A, Northwestern Lehigh. No, they were the ones.
Yeah, I knew
now
it was.
I got it.
Sometimes I get those two schools you name mixed up.
Yeah, they finished 16-0 last year, so they're picked to win it again, or they're number 1 at this point. Then Avonworth, Hickory, Notre Dame, Green Pond, Scranton Prep, Mount Carmel, Imani Christian, who were 11-1 last year. Didn't Imani Christian lose in the state championship game? Who did Northwestern Lehigh beat?
I think it was a championship, was it?
It may not have been.
I don't think it was a championship.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I don't.
So that's Northwestern Lehigh is probably the team to beat. 2A, Seton LaSalle. They don't like them. They don't like Steel High statewide. They're picked number 9. I don't think Coach Irby cares where his team's picked. Seton LaSalle, Schuylkill Haven, Riverside, Troy, Farrell, South Park, Williams Valley, but Southern Columbia is only picked number 8. So
yeah, which I get. I do get that.
Yeah. They weren't ranked last year.
Yeah, based off of how last year went. But they'll be much improved this year.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then
they were pretty young last year.
Right, yeah. And then it's gonna it kind of can get, I don't know if 1A is just a shadow of what they once were. You know, these are teams that if they still had to play under 4 classes, which they don't, they would probably have a hard time because they'd be playing against a lot of these 2A schools. But Fort Cherry's coming back. They were 14-1 last year. Clareton's coming back. Bishop Guilfoyle, who won it all, they'll be back. And then the fourth one in the top 4 is Lackawanna Trail. They finished 11-2 last year. It's going to be one of those: Fort Cherry, Clareton, Lackawanna Trail, or Bishop Guilfoyle.
Yeah, I think Guilfoyle repeats.
So the only other thing I have, unless you guys have anything to add, and I was going to do a whole show on this, and we did a whole show on the boys and boys basketball, and we're doing a girls basketball show. Shout out coaches Christy Britton, Randy Gambalungi, and Bill Wolf. They're going to be on a show tomorrow night or Tuesday night. We're going to talk about the Penn Live 25 for 25 top 25 athletes in the state, or in the mid-Penn, I'm sorry, in the first 25 years of the century. And gosh, do I have that list? I should have that list. And we're not going to listen, guys. And one thing I will not do is sit here and talk about players I don't think should be on the list. That's not good for me. That's not good reporting and good journalism. These are kids. Or some of them are, a lot of them are grown men now. But you know, the ones that I thought were kind of strange omissions were Jeremiah Young, and then Zaid.
Yeah.
Pronounce his last name for me. Esau is that Zaid from Central Dauphin.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, Zaid. They were the 2 omissions. And look, I thought these guys did they had Travis, I saw you make a comment. I saw this yesterday. This is a tough task for these guys, right? Didn't you make a comment, something along those lines?
I said the lists are impossible. You're going, and again, I don't agree to take anyone off as well, but you're going to leave people off who are deserving.
It has to happen.
I mean, one thing I'll say about this area, there's some good football in this area. Good football,
and there have been for 25 years, right?
Yeah.
And you know, when I think of people I've watched, I'm thinking like a Brandon Ware defensive line at Harrisburg,
who wasn't on the list, by the way.
Who wasn't on the list. Potts wasn't on the list, was he?
Nope, he wasn't.
Potts
either.
wasn't on the list. You know, there's some players who are going to be left off.
Right.
Cam Artis Payne wasn't on the list either.
Cam Artis Payne. You talking about NFL level?
Yes, NFL right there.
You know? Right. So it's you know, and I'm just thinking, I just rattle Harrisburg. I could rattle someone off from Susquehanna, Still High. Was Jeff Davis on the list?
No.
His name was brought up by a lot of people though.
Jeff Davis was one of the best athletes in the mid-pen in the period in the last 25.
The skill position players on those teams with Jeff Davis and Jordan Smith and of course Jeremiah, they were just incredible.
Yeah,
I mean, incredible.
They had a really good group. They did.
Jeff Davis would be the star player on any team in the state, and that includes the St. Joe's.
He was like a Randy Moss.
Nah, yeah, he definitely would.
He could play every position. He could play literally every position.
He could do it all.
And I thought they were crazy having him return punts. I said, this kid is 6
man among boys. Man among
ran up and down. I mean, he played defensive end, safety line. It's just
watch his punt return. Watch his punt return on YouTube. It's crazy. He just goes back and forth. Oh my! It looked like a man among or an 18-year-old playing with a bunch of 12-year-olds. That's what he looked like.
Honestly, I might start, and I think sometimes they pick guys that go to colleges sometimes, but I might start my list with Jeff Davis.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, that's a bold statement, but one I couldn't argue with, Travis. I mean, he was for those who don't know, Jeff Davis was incredible.
He was crazy good, great athlete.
Yeah. But there's a lot.
Athlete.
If anybody hasn't seen all these lists, the lists aren't designed just to get people talking, but man, have they got people talking, you know? And I had a good group of coaches on for the boys basketball. I think these guys are my friends. I think they are great. The writers for Penn Live, I think they're great writers, great journalists and reporters, whatever. They're all that, you know. But some of these players are just. We have Ben Dupree, our friend Ben Dupree, who got left off of the basketball. I think he was probably one of the first guys that would have been real close to 25. And how about Ben's attitude about it? We were texting with him the other day. He said, "It's all good." He said, "They gave me love on the basketball or the football side." What a great attitude that is. And Desi Washington said the same thing. He was on one of Lloyd Hill's, and they were all kind of taking Desi's back.
He definitely should have been on that list.
He was, he was, yeah. So anyway, we're gonna. We are respectful professionals around here. So I just wanted to mention that if anybody out there hasn't seen the list, I mean, you got LaShawn McCoy, Micah Parsons, of course, Stone Saunders, Drew Scales from Central Dauphin, who had just one of the greatest games ever in the state championship. Noah Spence. The list goes on and on. There's such, like you guys said, there's just great players. And Jordan Hill, I mean, Brian LaMel.
You can't name 25. You can't name 25 top players. It's just that I think the football around here, the quality of players is that good and around here. That's really hard.
Right. And like considering it, even if you look at this year's senior class, 2026, if you look at the players that are committed right now to college right now, this senior class, this class is really, really strong. Like it's really,
power
really,
fours
really
too. Is it power four now?
Four, big time. Yeah, power four. It's multiple guys. Multiple.
Yeah. And you're going to have more committed. You're going to have more.
And you're going to have more committed later on. Yeah. Like this class, arguably, some people could say like you could put this class up there with one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, it's a great time for Mid-Penn Conference football. Yeah, Mid-Penn Conference.
Based off of commitments. Yeah, I'm going off commitments.
Yep.
Yeah. Look for Jayon Lewis to be on that list.
He's real. Look, you know what? It's funny you said that because I have his name written down and circled to talk about him. He's really good, man. He took over on the fly. I mean, literally, they were like, Jayon, you're now a quarterback. Remember at the beginning of last year? That's when I first met you, Travis.
Well, I'm just saying from perspective. He's playing out of position.
And he's
he would be one of the best receivers in the state.
Yeah, I like him a lot. But going back to the class of 2026, it's not just one school. It's multiple schools in our area. Harrisburg has multiple. McDevitt has multiple. Susquehanna has multiple. Right. Trinity has multiple. Yeah. Canonsburg has multiple. Cumberland Valley has multiple. Right. Like it's a lot of schools that have Division I kids.
Yeah.
Commitments, not even just offers. Commits. Right now.
Yeah, we're fortunate. We get to come on here every Sunday night and talk about really good athletes and really good teams. You know what I mean? We don't have to. We're not struggling to find good student athletes and good teams to talk about. They're right out there in our backyard. So, fellas, that's it. That's all I have. Great show. An hour and 9 minutes. I mean, we got a lot accomplished in an hour and 9 minutes. I'll figure out what we'll do next week with Coach Warfield from Aliquip. I don't know if he wants to come on before his first game, after his first game. But listen, as I always say, it's our show. If you guys have coaches you want to bring on, we probably all, for the most part, know the same coaches. But I'd like to have Joe Heaton on this year. Certainly, coaches Irby and Cal Everett will be invited. So we're gonna have a good time, guys. So let's one more time. Let's do this. Let's thank that's our sponsors. I don't have to go. Capital Region Insurance Agency, Payer Apparel, Team PA AAU Basketball, the Tire Mart, American Legion Post 272, Crystal Bob at Iron Valley Real Estate, Hoffman Ford, Sam Hartley Decking, and Tonino's Pizza. Thanks to those great businesses. Thank you to Dave Berman, Travis Waters, Terry Clark Jr. Out today were Eric Thomas and Ben Dupree, but we'll get them in here with us. So, fellas, thank you very much. Talk to you soon.
See ya.
Sure, we'll be texting together throughout the week. Good night, everybody.
All right.